Another common question we get as life coaches is, what's the difference between a life coach and a therapist? A life coach is not some superhuman that's going to swoop in and solve all your problems in your first session. A life coach is somebody who approaches you from a place of previous experience. Often the life coach has already gone down the path that you're going down or has attained the goal or outcome that you're trying to reach. So like a leadership coach is typically someone who has done a lot of leadership in their career and has been there, done that. Or a relationship coach or a health coach or, a number of different types of coaches are very experienced in the area from their own personal experience and work. Whereas a therapist, they're actually a licensed therapist in the state where you live. And coaches often are not, they don't have a state license. There are certifications for sure that help with technique and approach and things like that for life coaching. But a therapist actually has had to go to college, they've had to get a degree, they've had to get, a state license, and they're gonna deal with you more on the level of trauma, PTSD, and all kinds of emotional and mental challenges that an individual might be going through. Whereas a life coach is gonna really focus specifically on the here and now in terms of what's the outcome you're looking for, what's the mindset, the habits, the actions, and the things that you need to change in order to attain that outcome within a certain time frame. So it's very actionable. A life coach is extremely actionable on outcomes, whereas therapy is often going into past and dealing with emotional and mental challenges that aren't necessarily leaving you with an action plan, but helping you to resolve previous conflict. Now, you can also differentiate a life coaching session with a therapy session pretty quickly when you realize that you almost never leave a coaching session without getting homework. And, if anybody's ever had a session with a therapist, you don't often leave with homework and action items. Well, you do with life coach. And those action items and those action plans bring you closer to the outcome that you want to attain. So it's like having a coach on the field with you yelling from the sidelines while you're playing the game so that you can be as successful at scoring as possible. And another important factor to probably call out here too is that therapists are able to take insurance, medical insurance, as coverage for their services, and life coaches currently are not, or in most cases, life coaches are not covered by insurance. There are some exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, your time will be covered, other than maybe a co-payment, by the insurance, and life coaches are paid an hourly rate or a subscription for a number of sessions over a number of weeks or months. And that really is sort of unfortunate because a lot of people can't afford a life coach, and the people that can't afford it are often the ones that could really use it the most. And I would never recommend somebody who's struggling to put food on the table, go and hire a life coach, go buy food, and instead read some books. And there's a lot of free YouTube content and social media content, some of the stuff like what I provide that you can watch and listen to that will help you as well for free. But eventually, if you're struggling with the same sort of challenges over and over in your life, and you're not finding yourself making it to the destination that you'd like to reach, then an investment in a life coach really might be the thing for you, and it might make a ton of sense. And similar to therapy, there's often an intake person who will talk to you first and sort of determine what kind of therapist you need based on what you're struggling with. Well, some services provide an intake assessment like that as well for life coaching, where they'll spend a first session just sort of getting to understand what you're after and what type of coach might be the best fit and match for you. Some do that with an intake form that's pretty extensive, and you answer the questions, and that really helps to dial in your need and matching you up with the best life coach.